Welcome to News Hour by DLC, your one-stop destination for the latest and most impactful updates from the legal world. From landmark rulings to policy shifts shaping the justice system, DLC brings you in-depth coverage, expert insights, and analysis that matter. Stay informed, stay ahead because in law, every verdict counts. Today is 19th February 2025 and we bring you news that matters. The first news for today is as follows. In a significant ruling on February 17, 2025, the Supreme Court of India clarified that under the Payment or Gratuity Act, 1972, an employee's gratuity can be forfeited if they are dismissed for misconduct constituting an offense involving moral turpitude, even without a criminal conviction. This decision departs from the court's 2018 judgment in Union Bank of India and Ors vs. C.G. Ajay Babu, which suggested that forfeiture required a criminal conviction. The recent judgment emphasizes that the Act permits forfeiture based on the nature of the misconduct itself, without necessitating a conviction in criminal court. Next news. In a landmark judgment on February 18, 2025, the Supreme Court of India clarified that mere presence at a crime scene does not establish common intention under Section 34 of the Indian Penal Code, IPC, unless active participation is proven. The ruling came as the court acquitted a husband accused of conspiring with his mother to set his wife ablaze, noting that his presence alone without evidence of overt action was insufficient for conviction. The bench emphasized that for Section 34 to apply, an individual must have participated in the offense, either through direct action or conduct indicating involvement in the crime. Next news. In a significant ruling on February 18, 2025, the Supreme Court of India emphasized that courts should adopt a liberal approach when considering bail applications under Section 437(6) or the Code of Criminal Procedure, CRPC. This section pertains to cases where a magistrate's trial has not concluded within 60 days from the first date fixed for recording prosecution evidence. The court highlighted that in the absence of factors, such as the possibility of the accused tampering with evidence, absconding, or causing trial delays, bail applications under this provision should be approached leniently to uphold the individual's constitutional right to liberty. This judgment underscores the importance of a speedy trial and the protection of personal freedom, urging lower courts to ensure that prolonged detentions without trial conclusion are avoided. Next news. On February 18, 2025, the Supreme Court of India dismissed a review petition challenging its earlier decision to uphold the inclusion of medical professionals under the Consumer Protection Act, 1986. The review petition, filed by the Medico-Legal Society of India, sought reconsideration of the court's the 7th of November 2024 order, which had declined to revisit the landmark 1995 judgment in Indian Medical Association VVP Shanta. This 1995 ruling established that services rendered by medical practitioners fall within the ambit of service defined in the Act, thereby allowing patients to file claims for medical negligence. The Supreme Court, in its recent order, stated that there was no justifiable reason to entertain the review petition, effectively reaffirming that doctors remain liable under the Consumer Protection Act. Next news. On February 18, 2025, the Supreme Court of India continued its deliberations on whether appellate courts possess the authority to modify arbitral awards under Sections 34 and 37 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act, 1996. Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna emphasized the necessity of a practical interpretation of Section 34, highlighting that a rigid approach might undermine the Act's intended purpose. He noted that while the Act, adopted during India's liberalization era, mirrors the ancestral model law, its application should align with contemporary realities. This perspective suggests a potential shift towards allowing courts limited scope to modify arbitral awards to ensure equitable outcomes. Next news. On February 18, 2025, the Supreme Court of India reaffirmed that while authorities possess the inherent power to blacklist contractors, such power must be exercised judiciously and based on reasonable grounds. The court emphasized that blacklisting is a severe measure that can effectively terminate a contractor's business prospects, therefore, it should not be imposed solely on allegations of contractual breaches without substantial evidence or misconduct. The bench highlighted the necessity for authorities to thoroughly understand the facts and ascertain the nature of the alleged violation before issuing a show cause notice for blacklisting. This ruling underscores the importance of fairness and proportionality in administrative decisions affecting individuals' professional livelihoods. Next news. On February 18, 2025, the Supreme Court of India mandated that state governments proactively consider the premature release of eligible convicts without awaiting formal applications. The bench, comprising Justices Abhay S. Oka and Augustine George Massey, emphasized that when a state or union territory has an existing policy for granting remission, it is incumbent upon the authorities to assess all eligible cases in accordance with that policy. The court further directed states lacking such policies to establish comprehensive guidelines within 2 months to ensure fair and consistent application or remission powers. Next news. On February 19, 2025, the Gujarat High Court criticized the Motor Accident Claims Tribunal (MACT) for dismissing a compensation claim based on minor inconsistencies in evidence. Justice J.C. Doshi emphasized that the tribunal adopted an insensitive approach by focusing on trivial discrepancies rather than taking a holistic view to grant fair compensation to the road accident victim. The court underscored the importance of empathy in such cases, noting that tribunals play a vital role in ensuring justice and determining just compensation for victims, who often endure significant physical and emotional trauma. Next news. On February 18, 2025, the High Court ruled that non-compliance with procedural guidelines under Section 52 of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances (NDPS) Act or related standing orders does not invalidate the prosecution's case if the recovery or contraband from the accused is substantiated by other compelling evidence. The bench, comprising Chief Justice Ramesh Sinha and Justice Ravindra Kumar Agrawal, emphasized that deviations from prescribed procedures are not necessarily fatal to the prosecution's case, provided that the seizure and recovery are convincingly established through cumulative evidence. Next news. On February 18, 2025, the Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh High Court ruled that an offence under Section 353 of the Ranbir Penal Code (RPC), which pertains to assaulting or using criminal force against a public servant, is not applicable unless the public servant is acting lawfully or performing a duty mandated by law. Justice Javed Iqbal Wani emphasized that actions by public servants that are contrary to their official duties cannot be considered as performed in the discharge of those duties. The court made these observations while quashing an FIR and charge sheet against an individual accused of obstructing municipal officials during a demolition drive, noting that the officials' actions were in violation of a prior High Court order. Next news. On February 17, 2025, the Chief Judicial Magistrate Court in Sopore, Kashmir convicted self-proclaimed faith healer Ijaz Ahmad Sheikh, known as Pir Baba, under Section 377 of the Ranbir Penal Code for the systemic sexual abuse of minors, under the guise of spiritual healing. The court found that Sheikh exploited his position of religious authority to manipulate and assault victims over several years. The case came to light in 2016 when a minor disclosed years of abuse, leading to an investigation that uncovered a pattern of exploitation from 2012 to 2016. The court emphasized that the prosecution successfully proved Sheikh's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, highlighting the consistent and corroborated testimonies of multiple victims. Next news. On February 18, 2025, the Punjab and Haryana High Court ruled that in warrant cases, the failure of a magistrate to sign a witness's deposition, as mandated by Section 275(4) or the Code of Criminal Procedure (CRPC), renders the testimony inadmissible and is detrimental to the prosecution's case. Justice Harpreet Singh Brar emphasized that the requirement for the magistrate to sign recorded evidence is mandatory, and non-compliance affects the validity of the prosecution's evidence. The court made these observations while hearing a revision plea challenging convictions under Sections 294 and 357 of the Indian Penal Code, where it was noted that the depositions of key witnesses were unsigned by the presiding officer. Next news. On February 17, 2025, underworld gangster Abu Salam, convicted for his involvement in the 1993 Mumbai bomb blasts, filed a petition in the Bombay High Court seeking premature release from Taloja Central Jail. Salam contends that including remissions for good behavior, he has effectively completed a 25-year sentence, aligning with assurances made during his 2005 extradition from Portugal. He challenges the 10th of December 2024 order by the Special Tada Court that denied his release plea. The High Court has scheduled the hearing for the 10th of March. Next news. On February 18, 2025, the Allahabad High Court extended the stay on the arrest of Alt News co-founder Mumid Zubair until February 19, concerning an FIR filed against him over an alleged formerly Twitter post about Yati Narsinghan's purported derogatory speech. During the hearing, the bench comprising Justice Siddharth Verma and Justice Yogendra Kumar Srivastav orally observed that critiquing the government is an integral part of freedom of speech and expression, and that the judiciary, as an institution, is also open to criticism. These remarks were made in response to Additional Advocate General Manish Goyal's argument, which sought to differentiate between criticizing the government and its decisions. The court's observations underscore the importance of safeguarding free speech and the right to dissent in a democratic society. Next news. On February 19, 2025, the Meghalaya High Court quashed the FIR and charge sheet against former Director General of Police DGP Dr. Lajjaram Bishnoi, who was accused of misusing and tampering with his official vehicle S registration number. Justice Bisdeep Bhattacharjee noted that while the vehicle was used with a registration number assigned to a different police vehicle, there was no evidence indicating that this was done under Bishnoi's instructions. The court concluded that the allegations did not meet the criteria of Section 192 of the Motor Vehicles Act, which pertains to using a vehicle without registration. The case originated from a 9th of May 2024 FIR filed by suspended police officer G.K. Youngray, alleging that Bishnoi used a fake registration number on his official vehicle. Following an investigation, a charge sheet was filed on the 19th of September 2024 under Section 192 of the Motor Vehicles Act. Bishnoi challenged the FIR and charge sheet, leading to the High Court's decision to quash both, citing a lack of evidence and improper application of the law. Next news. On February 18, 2025, the Kerala High Court cautioned against the misuse of the Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act, emphasizing that false allegations undermine the Act's purpose. Justice Badharuddin observed that when complaints to the police or unsuccessful litigations are followed by accusations under the SC/ST POA Act, it strongly suggests potential falsity. The court stressed the critical role of investigative agencies and judiciary in discerning genuine cases from malicious ones, urging that false cases be quashed without hesitation to prevent the harassment of innocent individuals. Next news. On February 19, 2025, the Madras High Court dismissed a plea from a second-year B.Com student seeking condonation for attendance shortage. The student, K. Shrish, was barred from writing his third semester examinations due to attendance falling below the condonable limit of 65%. The bench, comprising Justices R. Subramanian and C. Kumarappan, emphasized that judicial interference in academic matters is unwarranted, and that condoning such deficiencies would undermine the efforts of students who attend classes regularly. The court upheld the university's decision to deny examination access to the student. And the final news for today is as follows. On February 18, 2025, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi filed an application in a Pune special court, seeking to convert the ongoing defamation case against him from a summary trial to a summons trial. The case, initiated by Satyaki Savarkar, pertains to Gandhi's alleged defamatory remarks about Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. Gandhi's plea argues that a summons trial would allow for a comprehensive examination of historical records to substantiate his statements. The court has directed the complainant to respond to this application. Additionally, the court granted Gandhi permanent exemption from personal appearance, requiring his presence only during the pronouncement of judgment. Thanks for listening and consider subscribing to the channel. Well, that's all for today. Keep listening to Legal News by DLC.